This is the Financially Simple Podcast, a show dedicated to destroying the complexities of money for today's small business owner. And now, here's your host, pizza-loving, certified financial planner, Justin Goodbread.
Welcome to Financially Simple. This is a finance show for small business owners about money, how it works in our business and our personal lives, and how we can build wealth to be financially independent. I'm your host, Justin Goodbread. Today is episode number 21. Now remember, we're on a series here of building a business to sell, walking through the process. Today's episode is titled, There Are Not Any Mulligans in the Sales Process. Well, if you heard one of my first episodes, I mentioned that my degree, my undergraduate, is a degree called horticulture. And that's not a word you often hear every day. So what horticulture is it teaches you to grow things like grass or plants, etc. My particular discipline in horticulture was one called turf grass management. The idea that I had was I had a landscape company. I wanted to learn how to chemically grow grass. I know it sounds exciting. I cannot tell you the number of jokes I've received in my life about, dude, you're supposed to grow weed, not grass. I've heard them all. I've even giggled at some of them. But as part of my degree, I got to play a ton of golf. I don't play golf anymore. I probably should. I just don't have time. My kids got older and I'd rather be hunting or fishing, riding the tractor, playing with the kids than I would be sitting on the golf course for 4, 5, 6 hours. But back in those days, I played a lot of golf. I got to play some nice courses. I grew up in South Georgia, and that's home to a company called Sea Island Company, and they have a lot of really, really, really nice courses that many people in the general public can't get on. I was able to play all the Sea Island courses. I played some nice courses. I got to play a little bit at Augusta National. I got to play TPC at Sawgrass the week after the tour went through. And if you understand that particular, there is a hole on that course, which is an island hole. And I can remember watching Tiger Woods hit, I believe it was a 9-iron that year from the back tees. And here we are, we come to this hole, and I'm on the tees, and it's everything I can do to get a 5-iron there. Now, I know I'm not Tiger's capability, but, man, I was like, Tiger, if he can do a 9-iron, or I might have even been a pitching wedge that year with him on that course. I just can't remember. I've seen it a couple times. So he hit a very, very, very easy club, and I was doing everything I could to muscle it with a mid-range iron. Holy cow, man, I put so many balls on that water. Yeah, I'm sure you've been there. But I finally did get one to land, and after about like par 97, I was able to finish the course. Many times, though, in golf, I love to be able to say, I'm going to use my mulligan on that one. If you play golf, it's the reason why they call it golf, because all the other 4-letter words are taken, right? I've been on the golf course before. You had a nice drive right to the center of the fairway. You grab out a mid-range or a long iron or a short iron, it doesn't matter, and you hit the ball. I mean, everything's perfect. You got your feet right, your grip's just right, the club's face is perfect, the wind's good, you see the angels. I mean, it's all perfect. And you hit, and then the ball goes, and you start playing squirrel golf. Squirrel golf is where the ball goes in the woods and all the squirrels are ducking. And you're like, I'm going to take my mulligan on that one. So my brother and I would play, and we would have like 4 mulligans or 5 mulligans per 9 holes. Then we play with other people like, we're going to have 1 mulligan per 9, or we're going to have 1 mulligan for 18. And you always want to save that mulligan for whenever you just played squirrel golf. You just did a right hook on the ball that you shouldn't have. It's like, man, I'm going to play mulligan. In this phase of the game of selling our business, you cannot say, holy Batman, I need a mulligan. It's not going to happen. There's no mulligans in selling a business. A few years ago, I had a message from one of my clients, a business client, and we're going to call this guy Tim, right? So Tim called, and there's a message on my voicemail that says, Justin, call me ASAP. It's very, very important. Okay. In the financial planning world, especially with business owners, nothing reaches the level of ASAP. It just isn't. The finance world is just not that exciting. I mean, it's just numbers and it's taxes and it's business. I started laughing. I was like, okay. So nevertheless, I called my client, and he was so worked up. He could hardly speak. You could hear him, exasperating on the other side of the line. He's like, Justin, he wants to buy my business. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I'm like, slow down there, Tim. What's going on? He catches his breath and he goes, so-and-so just walked in. He wants to buy my business now. What are we going to do? Well, after we calmed old Tim down, we ended up dealing with it. But, it wasn't a surprise to me that my client would receive an offer. We'd been working for years on how to build the value of his business. And as I mentioned before, if you're building a business worth buying, people will notice. Anyways, the offer came a little bit earlier than my client expected, and the price was not exactly what my client expected, but hey, it was a great start. I can still hear the tone of my client's voice when he said, Justin, I don't know the first thing about selling a business. And not many people do. I can remember telling my seller, most of us know how to run our business. We can plan and we can implement, but selling a business, it's an event which very few business owners will experience. This is a do or die scenario. There is not any room for messing up. See, a mess up, or the lack of a mulligan in this case, if you mess up in the business process, the business sale process, it could cost you hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. Friends, there are no mulligans when it comes to the sales process. If you're in the building phase now, it may feel like a marathon. It takes years to build. But selling a business? Friend, that could take just a couple of weeks or months. It's more like a sprint. The single hardest thing that you'll be faced with is personal restraint. Let me say that again. As a seller, the single hardest thing that you'll be faced with in the sale of your business is personal restraint. Restraint from emotions like fears or greed. That one gets a lot of people. Or haste. Trying to rush it through. Now, many times a buyer has purchased a business before. They could be a corporate buyer, they could be a hedge fund, a mergers and acquisitions specialist, they could be a 1 or 2 time buyer, and the buyer often has a lot of money and they don't want to give it away very easily. I was on the buyer side of the transaction sometimes, and buyers love to wear down the seller, almost as to purchase the business for a nice discount as a trophy for them. So, what are you to do? If you're like Tim and you find yourself in the middle of a business sale, or here we are, we're entering the sales process of our business and we're ready to list our business. We're going to deal with how to list it and all those things soon, but now you're ready to sell your business. What is it that you can do? I remember asking Tim, are you ready for this? I've asked that a couple of times, various ways over the last few episodes. If you're ready for it, then you cannot go in haphazardly. You can't do it. I'm not a big fan of mixed martial arts. I'm just not. I get it. I think it's fun to watch occasionally. And I was with a friend of mine. We were at his house, and there was a big MMA fight. And Tito was the only guy's name. And I don't know the names. You might even recognize who this guy was. He was a big old fella. And, like any other sporting event that's like physical combat, they were talking trash at the beginning. And that's just par for the course. I get that. But I remember someone says, "You prepared for this?" And I don't remember who it was. They said, "I'll know when I get hit the first time if I'm prepared for it." And he was almost like a tongue-in-cheek. He was like, "Yeah, man, I'm prepared. I'm going in that ring, and come hell or high water, I'm taking somebody out." That's almost the attitude we have to have whenever we get ready to sell our business. You can't jump into it haphazardly. You can't be half-hearted. You can't say, "Well, I'm going to try to do this." Friends, the minute you start the sales process, it is going to cost you unbelievable amount of time and money. If it's just an academic exercise, just stop now. Just stop. It's going to be the most expensive course you've ever taken in your life. Selling a business is hard. It is emotionally devastating to many people. It can wear you out. It may be the toughest thing you ever do in your life. It will be an emotional roller coaster. Have you ever sold a piece of real estate before? I remember we sold our house before we moved to the farmhouse, and we had it listed for a period of about 18 months. That was during the downturn of the market. I know it wasn't a good time, but I felt like we'd get a fair price for it, and we did. We got a fair price for it. But I can remember my wife getting frustrated through that process about it was taking so long, and people trying to come in offer very lowball offers. Think of trying to sell a house and multiply it by like 100. That's what you're getting ready to jump into. So you get that offer, and you're like, hey man, I got an offer to sell my business. Friend, buck up. As my days say, pick up yourself by your bootlaces. That's how you say it. Grab yourself by your bootlaces and let's go, son. Man up. One of my friends always said, cowboy up, giddy up, let's go. Same scenario here. It's not haphazard. The minute you decide to sell, jump in or jump out.
You are listening to Financially Simple, destroying the complexities of money for today's small business owner.
So now that you've jumped in, what's the second thing you can do? Now's the time to assemble the team. So you got that offer, or you're ready to receive an offer. You feel like it's now time to list the business. Now's the time to assemble the team. These are the people who are going to help you through the process, okay? So you're going to have a core group of people. These core group of people are going to be with you from before you list it to more than likely all the way till after you list it. And one or two of these people are going to be with you pretty much the rest of your life. Then you're going to have some team members who will come in strategically throughout this process. They might come in for one particular assignment and then move out. Let's think football, right? We're getting ready in East Tennessee now. It's the beginning of 2018 as I record this, and the national championship just got finished at the college level. Last night, the Vikings beat the Saints. We got the Super Bowl coming up before too long. Probably by the time this is released, you'll hear that. So who's on the team? Well, on the football team, you'll have your kicker. Kicker's not in for every play. He comes in when he's needed. You'll have your punter. You'll have special team members. You'll have fast guys. You'll have slow guys. You have really, really big guys. You have really, really short guys. You have guys that know how to throw the ball, guys that know how to catch the ball. I watched in the national championship on the college level, they had people who weren't the quarterback come in and act as a quarterback for one play to make first downs. And so that's part of the team. In your team, though, you're going to have three people who are going to be core to your team. They're going to be your certified financial planner, your certified public accountant, and your attorney. And all three of these team players will be with you before you list the business for sale, and they'll be with you after the business is sold. And more than likely, your CFP and your CPA, your certified financial planner and your certified public accountant, may be with you through the remainder of your life to make sure that your wishes and goals are taken care of. So you got to build your team. Another member that is in the team is a certified exit planning advisor. A certified exit planning advisor will oftentimes act as the head coach or the quarterback, if you will. They're the ones who are trying to keep the parties moving in the same direction. I am a certified financial planner. I make no bones about that. Most of my career has been showing business owners how to build wealth, either in their business or outside of their business. As a CFP, my world's a little different. I spend a lot of time with business owners. We do manage millions and millions of dollars in the stock market and bond market, but a lot of our business owners, they don't end up with a lot of money there until they sell their business. So a certified financial planner, they're ones who's walking with you on a personal level. And if you hire a CFP who knows business, they'll also help you with the business level. But two of the players, a CPA and an attorney, they often can frustrate a client. I mean, this is just me speaking from personal experience. Take it for what it's worth. You may have had different experiences. I've been in this business for a very, very, very long time. I've been a business owner for over 20 years now, 22 years as a matter of fact now. My CPAs and my attorneys that I work with either for myself or with various clients, oftentimes they'll give very good advice, extremely good advice, but many times they're lacking a connection. Sometimes the CPA will make a recommendation, but they don't understand the law. Or the lawyer will make a recommendation, but they don't understand the tax ramifications. And then you'll throw a CFP in the mix, and they make all sorts of recommendations that they want you to check with your CPA or your attorney. And it can feel just very, very frustrating. So those three members, you want them to be on the same page. And a CEPA, Certified Exit Planning Advisor, is a designation which has been created to come in and almost act as a quarterback. They're the ones who are going to put together a plan for you. And we're going to talk about it in a second. But you may need some other people on the team. You may have M&A specialists. You may have investment bankers. You may have insurance agents. You may have real estate agents. You may have business brokers. You could have a number of different types of classifications of people who help you on the disposition of your business. But at the core is going to be the CFP, the CPA, and the attorney. Those three are going to be with you throughout this process. And you want harmony, and you want them all to be really good. You want them all to be very sharp at what they do, but you want them to be on the same team. They're all working for you. So you got to assemble the team. When you're ready to sell, or if you get a purchase price, if somebody makes you an offer, build your team. Don't do anything else. The third thing you're going to do is after you get your team, you're going to build the plan. You know, every deal and every buyer will be different. Your CEPA, Certified Exit Planning Advisor, and your Certified Financial Planner will work with you to develop a strategy or a step-by-step action plan that you and your team can walk through the process. Those two individuals, they'll get feedback from the CPA and their attorney. You're going to need a leader, if you will. You're going to need a chief operating exit planning officer, so to speak. You're going to need somebody on your team who can orchestrate the players, someone who knows the game and when to call in the punter, when to call in the special teams, when to call in that 6'7" person to block the field goal. You're going to need somebody who talks all these different languages. And many times a CEPA or a CFP can help you with that. I know many attorneys that can act in this capacity, albeit they get kind of expensive, but they can act in this capacity. I've not met many CPAs who act as the tactician. Now, I'm sure they're out there. I've just not met many. And if you're a CPA or an attorney, listen to this podcast, I would love for you to just reach me a line on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. Justin@financiallysimple.com is my email. I love meeting CPAs and attorneys nationally. If you hear this and you've had different experience, please shoot me a line. I'm by no means attacking. I love whenever good people are able to help clients. But you're going to need a plan, friends. Number 3, you're going to need a plan. Number 4, the fourth thing you're going to have to do is not make rookie errors. You know, as I was watching my beloved Bulldogs play for the first time in the national championship since I was in diapers, I got really, really aggravated. I became, infuriated at some rookie errors. Now, you may say, well, they just got beat. Yeah, they got beat. They got beat really good, actually. It wasn't as bad. It was a close game. But in my opinion, they lost because they made some rookie mistakes. There was a face mask on a 3rd down and long. How do you make a face mask on a 3rd down and long? How do you have pass interference on the 3rd down? Seriously. So now is the time you're not going to want to make rookie mistakes. You're like, well, Justin, what are the rookie mistakes? Well, first thing you're going to do on these rookie mistakes is you can't stop working. You can't stop. You're like, well, I got a buyer on the hook. I wouldn't be so sure that buyer is definitely going to go through. What happens if you get to the 5-yard line, you get in the red zone, and you can't get across the goal line? That's happened. You can't stop working in your business. That's a rookie mistake. Selling a business could take months or years, and you must keep your eye on operating the business. You may end up having the seller walk away last minute, and the last thing you want is to have a business which has become anemic or weak because you lost focus on what your objective is. Your objective is to build a business that's worth buying. That's the objective. And if you lose the eye of the ball, you're not going to get a touchdown. Another rookie mistake is this. You ever heard the saying, if banks compete, you win? This lending tree, right? That's a slogan they had. I haven't heard in a while, but, the idea behind that is if we had multiple people volleying for our business, we would get the best deal or best rate. Same thing applies in our selling our business. You really just don't want to take the first offer which comes around. Now, again, listen to your advisors. Your advisor may say, hey, this is a heck of a deal. Let's take this deal. But for the most part, you want to get multiple buyers. You want to get multiple bids, not just one. Another rookie mistake that I've seen frequently is don't have commission breath. You're like, what? Have you ever met a new salesperson? Maybe it's somebody who's just came on a sales position, maybe for a car lot. The ones I often hear it from is insurance agents. They will try to do anything to get you to buy their product, right? It's almost like the TV salesperson. Whenever you're in this process, the buyers are going to easily deal with you a lot. They're going to ask you questions. They're going to go through various processes with you. Their whole ramification to see is how eager are you at wanting to sell this business. If you give the tendency that, hey, I'm willing to sell this business at all costs, it's going to reflect in the offer that you receive. I remember one of our clients was trying to buy a dental office, and the selling doctor had commission breath. And I was on the buyer side with a good attorney and a good CPA. And I was at this meeting by myself with a client listening to the buyer talk. And I walked out of there and I looked at my client. I said, did you notice how eager he is to sell this business? This particular buyer said, yeah, I noticed that. I said, I would dare to say he hasn't had any legitimate offers, probably because his price is too high. We're going to offer him half of what he's asking. And my buyer just looked at me like, are you kidding me? Let's not lose this thing. I said, nah, we're going to offer him half. And sure enough, we offered him half and ended up buying it for 40% of his list price. Why? Well, the seller had commission breath. and the team was well enough versed to pick up on it. So just like your old dating world, now's the time to play hard to get. Okay, now's the time. And just like dating, the more aloof somebody is, the more you want them. The same thing is true in this type of business sale. So that's a rookie mistake. Don't act like you have to sell it to every person that comes along. And lastly, another rookie mistake is don't quit. If you go into the process of selling a business, sell the business. Selling is hard. Selling a business is hard. The most fit person in a competition typically wins. As they're wearing you down, as a buyer's coming in, they're trying to wear you down and trying to cut your price or trying to cut the terms or put more clause inside of you to try to make it where it's more lucrative to them. Just stay diligent. Their whole job is to wear you down. Like I said, I was an expert witness on many, many cases. I was in one, and I was on the defendant side. And I remember telling the defendant that, look, they're just trying to wear you down through negotiation. Just stay diligent. And the person just didn't have the stamina, and they gave in. So just stay diligent. So I reached this point. Congratulations. It's time to sell the business. Or congratulations, you just received an offer. I'm just giving you a few things here to keep in mind. Remember, most of all, there are no mulligans. You don't get to mess up. If you mess up, you're talking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. If you mess up and don't get this right, you don't build the right team, you can end up never selling the business. Or you can end up selling the business, having to work for free for years after that. And you're like, hold up, Justin. Yeah, there's a lot of dangers here, friends. So whenever you enter the sales process, jump in wholeheartedly and follow some of these helpful points here. So guys, that's it for episode number 21. Yeah, life is hard. This sales process, it can be a bugaboo. It can be a bear. It doesn't have to be. Let's continue to make our lives at least financially simple. Hey, y'all make it a great day.
You have been listening to the Financially Simple podcast. The information in this show is for informational purposes only. This show is not investment advice. Instead, seek help from a competent financial advisor. Justin Goodbread, CFP, is an investment advisor representative of Heritage Investors, a registered investment advisor.